Breaking tonight, a big story out of campaign 2016 as a new look at battleground polls shows Donald Trump closing the gap in states that matter most, even winning states that repeatedly voted for President Obama. Welcome to the Kelly File, everyone. I'm Megyn Kelly. Today, we have been poring over data from RealClearPolitics.com and found some dramatic numbers in the 7 key states that together represent more than a third of all the electoral votes needed to win. According to the Real Clear Politics average of polls, Donald Trump is now leading in 5 of the 7 top battleground states. He's up by 5 points in Iowa, more than 2 points in Nevada, 2 in Ohio, almost a point in North Carolina, and is just edging out Mrs. Clinton in Colorado. Meantime, it is a dead heat in Florida, and while she is still leading in Pennsylvania, Trump has narrowed the gap to less than 2 points in a state the pundits suggested he could not win. What's more, all these states went for President Obama in the last 2 election cycles, with the exception of North Carolina. We have a great lineup to discuss all of this tonight, including Karl Rove, who is here with a warning about the format of the next debate, plus Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, who has been helping Mr. Trump shape his message and prepare for debates, and Tom Bevan, co-founder and publisher of Real Clear Politics. He's here to discuss those poll numbers, and we're going to start with him. Tom, good to see you. So these numbers are good for Trump, and Florida, let's start there, you say is the most important state for both of them.
It is, in particular for Donald Trump. I mean, if you look at the math, he just can't get there unless he wins the 29 electoral votes. He'd basically have to run the table. It would take something of a miracle. So that's critical for Donald Trump. That's a state Obama won by less than 1 point in 2012. It's now under a point in our Real Clear Politics average. It's been really close for basically the entire month of September. And so, you know, Trump's going to try and run up his numbers in the north and the Panhandle. Clinton will run up her numbers in southern Florida, and then the battle will be fought, as it always is in Florida, in that I-4 corridor. Hillsborough County around Tampa is where that state will be decided. Okay,
North Carolina, that's, you know, you tell me who that's supposed to, typically, traditionally, it would have gone Republican.
Right. Obama won it in 2008, but didn't in 2012. He lost it by about 2 points to Mitt Romney. This is a state Trump has to keep in the Republican column, 15 electoral votes, and it's close. It's very, very close. In fact, we have 7 polls there. 3 of them favor Trump, 2 of them favor Clinton, and 2 of them are exactly tied. So it is that close in North Carolina. And again, that's one that Trump really needs to keep in the Republican column. If he loses that state, it's going to really complicate his path to 270. Ohio, no Republicans ever won the White House without it. It'll probably be the same again this year. That is one state. Trump has a small but stable lead there. And in all the polls that we have in the month of September, he's leading by, you know, a little bit, 2 points in our average overall.
That was the same thing with Obama last time around, where he was ahead of Mitt Romney just by a bit at all those polls in Ohio, and that was how it turned out.
Exactly. In fact, Obama won 9 out of the 10 battleground states. He was ahead with small leads in all those states, and they held up for him.
Okay, let's talk about Colorado, because she was ahead of Trump by 11 points in Colorado a month ago.
Yeah, this to me is Clinton's sort of firewall state, right? It's a state that Obama won handily in 08 and 12. Clinton, as you mentioned, she had a double-digit lead there just a few weeks ago. And now Trump's leading by less than a point. A pretty dramatic drop in altitude for Clinton there. And the 9 electoral votes, it's not a ton, but it is key. If she can hold on to Colorado, she's going to force Trump to win another state that might be a little bit tougher for him. So that is a state to definitely keep an eye on for Hillary Clinton.
And then the be-all, end-all, Pennsylvania. I mean, if Trump could win that, it would be huge. But the odds of him winning it, even though it's tightened, you tell me.
The odds of it, look, this is the Lucy with the football state for Republicans. Every 4 years they go in there and they say, we've got a chance, and then Lucy pulls the football away, and it's never even really that close. This year, however, again, given the makeup of the state, given that Clinton, it's another state where she's lost a lot of altitude, down to under 2 points now in the most latest Real Clear Politics average of polls, has Democrats really worried. And Republicans are, again, licking their chops at that state, but it is a state that has not gone well for Republicans in the final analysis, so we'll have to wait and see.
Tom, thank you.
You bet, Megyn.
Karl Rove has some thoughts on these polls and how to win from here. He's a Fox News contributor and former Deputy Chief of Staff to President George W. Bush. Karl, good to see you. Let's just take a couple of those in reverse order. Pennsylvania. David Plouffe, who got Barack Obama elected twice, was on the show this week saying it doesn't exist for the Republicans. Don't kid yourself. Do you agree?
No, I think it's very much up in the air because, look, Trump has an ability to attract blue-collar, working-class Democrats in the western part of the state.
He knows that, but Plouffe said there are too many Democrats who are going to come out of Philadelphia to overwhelm them.
Look, that will be true if she gets the same kind of turnout that Barack Obama got. Think about this. Obama carried the city of Philadelphia by 550,000 votes and loses the rest of the state. But Romney wins it by about 150,000 votes, the rest of the state, but loses the state by 300 and some odd thousand votes. So,
wow.
It depends on the level of turnout in the African-American community in Philadelphia. And it also depends upon how well Trump does with white, college-educated voters in the suburbs of Philadelphia, particularly women. And that's where his weak point is in the state. He's overperforming in the western part of the state, blue-collar Democrats. He looks like he's underperforming among independents and soft Republicans in the suburbs, and we don't know about the city of Philadelphia.
We've heard this time after time, that Trump and Clinton are fighting over white college-educated women, and that the debate was supposed to be aimed, according to Joe Trippi and some others, at white college-educated women. And that was some of the criticism that Trump received thereafter, saying, what did you do during that debate to appeal to white college-educated women? On the list is not calling Miss Universe fat. So a controversy that continues to dog him. Go ahead.
Yeah, look, if he makes this about change versus the status quo, not about his personal scandals, not about her personal scandals, then he's got a shot to win. If he lets himself, if he takes the bait and gets drawn in on these things, he's in trouble. And particularly if he not only gets drawn into them in the debate, but then squanders a valuable day. Look, Megan, we're at the point where the most valuable thing that a presidential campaign has is time, and he chewed up a valuable day arguing over something that is completely, on the edges of this debate, and certainly not central to his ability to make a winning case.
And so now we're a week or so away from the next presidential debate, and it'll be a town hall format. And I want to play this clip because Trump, he's had limited town hall experience, but he's had some town hall experience. And here was a testy moment that happened on February 18th at one he had with CNN. You tell me whether he should repeat this.
When you said that George W. Bush, which was our last Republican president, a man I respect greatly, person that we really fought for when he was up against a lot of pressure, that he lied to get us in the war in Iraq. That stung me very deeply. Okay. I don't believe that. I'm just wondering, given some time passing, perhaps you've rethought that? Would you be willing to rethink that?
Well, a lot of people agree with what I said.
Do you think the president of the United States, George W. Bush, lied?
Well, look, I'm not going to get you a
people?
vote, but that's okay.
Carl?
Town hall meetings are tough because there's a tendency when you get into a debate to think that you're speaking either to the camera or that you're engaged with your opponent. But a town hall meeting is a conversation, a one-on-one conversation with somebody who's looking you in the face, not too many feet away, and the ability of a candidate to display empathy and to sound like they're listening, to somehow make a connection with that person, and then to take the conversation the direction that they want to go. I mean, there was no need to get in an argument or insult that voter, and he cannot do that the coming week. He's got to also be careful about being too harsh in his attacks on Hillary Clinton. It's one thing when you're standing there, just the two of you on the stage, but if you're in a room, the dynamic of those kind of personal attacks changes pretty dramatically.
Carl, great to see you.
You bet. Thank you.
Well, just last night we spoke to Trump campaign manager Kellyanne Conway, who suggested that in the next debate, she wants to see the same Donald Trump who showed up for the beginning of the first debate. Watch.
I think if Mr. Trump looks back at the first 30 minutes or so of the debate, he'll see some real highlights. His ability to sort of joust and jab with Hillary Clinton.
Lieutenant General Michael Flynn is the former director of the Defense Intelligence Agency and a Trump national security advisor. Great to see you, General. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
So the New York Times is reporting that Trump's struggles in the debate are attributable to his inadequate or improper debate prep, and they cite in particular these two retired military generals, right, who are just screwing the whole thing up. Is that you?
That's obviously me is one of them, and a good friend of mine is the other. So, yeah, I mean, I saw that, and I just find that pretty laughable. The preparation that he had, and I think Kellyanne was right on the money, that the first 30 to 40 minutes, and I actually timed it while I was sitting in the debate hall there, the first 40 minutes was about the economy, prosperity, tax reform, and I think Donald Trump nailed it. what I really saw at the second half of the debate really was, frankly, the poor judgment on some of the issues that were picked up on by Hillary Clinton, where she brought in the Miss Universe pageant winner. And I thought that was, you look at some of the things that have come out about this young lady, in the last 24 hours.
Even though this woman had some troubles, even though this Miss Universe has some troubles, all of his comments about her weight are on camera. Not those specific ones, but many others.
It just shows the bad judgment. But the other thing is, had I been in Lester Holt's seat, I would have asked much tougher questions, and I would have focused on the three themes, which was, the direction of the country, prosperity, and I think security, American security. And none of that was talked about for almost an hour.
Okay, but as the candidate, you got to be able to get in the stuff that you want to get in and get away from the stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
So what are you still on the debate prep team?
Or pivot? Yeah.
All right. So what's going to happen differently? What is happening differently between now and the next one?
Well, I think that Donald Trump is still out. We were up in New Hampshire today, actually. So your laydown of all of the polls that he's and the momentum that the entire Trump campaign team has right now.
He's looking good there.
Feeling very good. And the pitch that he gave up in New Hampshire was superb today. So I think a lot of this is just continuing to show, in the opponent of Hillary Clinton, the bad judgment that she has displayed in both foreign policy and even here as a senator of the state of New York, where I don't know what accomplishments she has here, really none. In fact, the loss of, I understand, a couple of 100,000 jobs out of New York. So she has really no good things to sort of sink her teeth into in terms of accomplishments. Her judgment and some of the issues that she has been involved in, from her judgment of using a private server at her home where she placed national security.
Because he knew these things before the first debate.
Yep,
so
and
what will change? He just needs to.
Well, one of the things that I think that he came across, I actually thought that he won the debate. Hands down won the debate. I think that we didn't do a good enough job probably spinning it after all the spin stuff that happens. And I think that the mainstream media actually did. They did sort of their job of making sure for the last couple of days, talking up about how Hillary Clinton did and how Donald Trump, didn't do. So, I really look at this thing and I say, hey, look, I think that Donald Trump won that debate the other night, and I believe, and you can do all the scientific polling, and I'm not a pollster, but what I saw and the people that I've been talking to, and I pay very close attention to the sort of the information domain, and there are an awful lot of people that are looking at Donald Trump in a much different way and saying, this is a guy that I can see as the president of the United States or the commander in chief. And frankly, the judgment and the decisions that Hillary Clinton has made have been just absolutely poor.
Great to see you, General.
Great. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks for being here. Well, there are also new theories circulating tonight about the last debate, including the real meaning of this mysterious bump in the back of Hillary Clinton's jacket, and whether she was using some sort of hand signals. Bum, bum, bum. We will investigate with Brian Kilmeade. Plus, Donald Trump today started talking about how Bill and Hillary Clinton treated the women who came forward to accuse the former president. And Trump spokesperson Katrina Pearson and DNC member Robert Zimmerman are next on whether or not this is fair game.
The Clintons are the sordid past. We will be the very bright and clean future.
Breaking tonight, new evidence that Donald Trump may be launching a controversial line of attack on the Clinton camp. After 3 straight days of getting hit over his treatment of women, Politico reporting late today that Trump's campaign put out talking points this afternoon about how Hillary Clinton and her husband worked together to destroy Bill Clinton's accusers. It came on the same day the Washington Post published a widely read report questioning whether Hillary Clinton was an enabler for her womanizing husband or someone just defending their family. Trump spokesperson Katrina Pearson and DNC committee member Robert Zimmerman are here in a moment. But first, we go to Trace Gallagher on why this story is blowing up today. Trace?
Megyn, Donald Trump, the Trump campaign, and Trump surrogates have all argued that what's important in this campaign is not Bill Clinton's infidelities, but rather the way Hillary Clinton has responded to her husband's accusers, unfairly lashing out at them, like Jennifer Flowers, the singer who in 1992 sold Star magazine the story of her affair with Bill Clinton. At the time, Hillary Clinton described Flowers this way during an interview with ABC's Primetime Live. Watch.
You get your 15 minutes of fame and you get your picture on the front page of every newspaper, and some failed cabaret singer who doesn't even have a resume to fall back on.
Clinton went on to say if she had the chance to cross-examine Flowers, she would, quote, crucify her. 6 years later, Bill Clinton admitted to the affair. When a woman told Penthouse magazine that an Arkansas state trooper approached her on the Governor Clinton's behalf, Hillary Clinton reportedly said, quote, we have to destroy her story. And in 1994, Arkansas state employee Paula Jones alleged in a lawsuit that Bill Clinton propositioned her in a hotel room 3 years earlier. Bill Clinton dismissed the allegation as untrue, and Jones was painted as promiscuous trailer park trash. Bill Clinton then settled the lawsuit for $850,000. During that lawsuit, Paula Jones' attorneys found out about an intern named Monica Lewinsky, and Hillary Clinton went back on the attack. Watch.
The great story here for anybody willing to find it and write about it and explain it is this vast right-wing conspiracy that has been conspiring against my husband since the day he announced for president.
Hillary also portrayed Lewinsky as being unstable. And last November, Hillary Clinton tweeted that assault victims deserve to be believed. When asked if that applied to her husband's accusers, Clinton said this.
I would say that everybody should be believed at first until they are disbelieved based on evidence.
And the Clinton campaign now says Trump is mistaken if he thinks going after her for defending her husband will throw her off her game. Megan.
Trace, thank you. At the same time, Mr. Trump appears ready to start bringing up Bill Clinton and the past and his women, the women in his past. Not his women. Some Republicans were today quoted warning Trump to keep Lewinsky and these others out of it. Joining me now, Katrina Pearson, Trump campaign national spokesperson, and Robert Zimmerman, who's a Clinton supporter and DNC committee member. Good to see you both.
Good to be with you.
So let me start with you on it, Robert, because you saw the Trace report. A lot of the young people don't even know about Bill Clinton's histories, but listen, he cheated on Hillary Clinton more than once, and that's been documented, and he was accused of more than just having consensual affairs, but actually sexual assault, especially by Paula Jones in a lawsuit that was settled for almost 7 figures. Why is that not fair game?
Oh, come on, Megan. Let's cut through all of the type of Star Magazine type of gossip, and let's deal with the political reality, Megan. And the reality is that this week, Donald Trump lost 2 debates. Monday night against Hillary Clinton, and then Tuesday and Wednesday, Alicia Machado cleaned his clock when he was trying to attack her.
But why are those not fair games?
Here's the reality, Megan. He's trying to change the topic because in today's news, it was reported he settled a lawsuit in 2012 where he was asking his employees to fire what he described as unattractive women.
We're going to get to that. We're going to get to that a little later in the show. But if you can just answer my question, Robert,
I am answering your question, Megan.
Why is it not fair? So even if that's all true, even if this is a defensive move by Trump, why is it not fair to ask about how Hillary treated the women who came forward, and there were plenty
Hillary
of them
stood up for her husband. She stood up for her marriage. And very frankly, whenever Republicans have tried to attack her for that, they have absolutely gone down in flames. That's why you have the leading Republican senators, including Senator Wicker, who's in charge of the Republican Senate campaigns, pleading with Trump not to go there. Mm-hmm. It's a failed strategy because Hillary Clinton stood up for her marriage and stood up for her husband.
Katrina?
Look, this is not about Bill Clinton or even what he did for that matter. This is solely about what Hillary Clinton did. She has launched this campaign on sexism. She accused Bernie Sanders of sexism. And now they're expecting Donald Trump to be accused of being a sexist and not to defend himself. And the reason why this is fair game is simply because this is about Hillary Clinton's trustworthiness and accountability. She knew her husband was cheating on her, and she blamed it on the vast right-wing conspiracy.
Well, she said she didn't know.
She knew that this was happening and shifted the blame onto the women. And you know what, Megan? She's right. If she had the opportunity to cross-examine the witnesses, she would have crucified them.
Okay, but let me ask you this, Katrina.
Just like she did a 12-year-old little girl who was brutally raped by a grown man.
Okay, let me ask you this question, which is, a lot of women out there will see Hillary Clinton with her husband cheating on her and say, of course she wanted to tear down the story. Of course you want to say it's not true and dismiss the women and say, I don't believe them, they're liars. A lot of women will see that and forgive it and not see it as this cardinal sin. Why are they wrong?
No, you're absolutely right. Of course you would want to fix that, but then you can't go around and call yourself the champion of women. It's the hypocrisy that's the issue here.
Actually,
you can't go
Katrina,
around blaming other people.
women are calling her the champion of women.
You can't go around blaming other people for what you and your husband have done, and that's the problem.
Okay, so wait, but in addition to the ones that we highlighted there, Kathleen Willey is another person who accused Bill Clinton, and she's been on the program, and she says that Hillary Clinton, too, and the entire Clinton team tried to destroy her. Here she is in September 22nd, 2000, alleging the behavior she had received. Watch.
Today I am suing the President, the First Lady, and the White House aides because of their efforts to intimidate and harass me. Before I testified in the Paula Jones case, a stranger approached me, mentioned my 13-year-old cat who had disappeared, my tires which had been vandalized, and asked how my children by name were, and said, "You're just not getting the message." After my testimony before Judge Starr's grand jury and my appearance on 60 Minutes, White House aide Sidney Blumenthal boasted that my reputation would be ruined in a matter of days.
Robert, what of it?
Here's the bottom line, Megan. Donald Trump can run his campaign with Rush Limbaugh and the National Enquirer any way they want. The bottom line here is women are standing up in record numbers in support for Hillary Clinton. It's not that she's calling herself the champion of women, but women are recognizing her by 51 to 32, I believe, in the most recent Wall Street Journal NBC News poll. And here's the point. Donald Trump's strategy in terms of reaching out to women has lowered his numbers to the point where he's not only running behind Mitt Romney, he's actually running down right now. We're at the same he's at the same numbers with Hispanic and African American voters.
You tell me, if you've got women on the record like Kathleen Willey saying what she just said, you've got the Clinton camp, not Hillary herself so far as we can see, but Team Clinton during, these women coming forward, dismissing the women as floozies, bimbos, stalkers. Right. In the case of Monica Lewinsky, this did come from Hillary, narcissistic Looney Tunes, and on, whether that is fair game for Donald Trump, who has said many of those same things
not
in
only
different
is it not
contexts.
fair game, it's a losing strategy.
That was
especially if you ask the Republican senators who are begging him not to do this.
But no, this is fair game because some of the allegations being made against Donald Trump are just that, allegations. And you cross-examined the most recent Miss Universe, the recent accusation we had from Mr. Trump, which was Miss Universe, the very first winner, and she couldn't even corroborate what she even said Mr. Trump called her. These are allegations. The reason why this is important, these are actual actions that were taken against Hillary Clinton. She is calling herself the champion of women, and she has failed miserably, and she shifted the blame.
So are women, according to the polls. Why is Donald Trump running so poorly in the polls? Right now, his numbers are dropping to the same level with Hispanic and African Americans.
We've never seen a Republican run this poorly.
Anna Navarro, who's on a cable competitor, she came out today
and she said
she wants to do with women. She
talks about the issues, and she's the one talking about this.
I'm sorry, one at a time, please.
I got to go. I got to leave it at that. But I do want to clear one thing up for the record. The allegations that Miss Universe said against Donald Trump, that he called her Miss Piggy, that he called her Miss Housekeeping, those have not been substantiated by third-party witnesses. That's true. But him calling her, overweight, saying she would eat the whole gymnasium, saying she loved to eat, saying she would eat anything you put in front of her, and criticizing her weight has been well documented. He even did it this week on Fox and Friends. The stuff about Hillary Clinton herself, she didn't, as far as we can find, call anybody a bimbo. But the Team Clinton was referring to women in those terms I just described. So those are allegations about Team Clinton, not about her directly. There we go. And we're not done with the women talk yet, because apparently that's taken over 2016. There are now at least a half dozen conspiracy theories about Hillary Clinton. Oh, this is a different story, but this is interesting too. About Hillary and Monday night's debate. Did she have a hidden earpiece? Was she using some sort of hand signals, like, I don't know, how do they do it, the catcher and the pitcher? They don't do this. Brian Kilmeade's investigated. He's here with what he found. Plus, you just heard about the new controversy that blew up today at one of Donald Trump's golf courses. We'll show you what that involves next. Developing tonight, the Trump campaign defending against a new report raising questions about his treatment of women. This one involves a lengthy story in the LA Times looking into an employee lawsuit at one of Trump's golf clubs. Among the many complaints in the suit are affidavits, sworn testimony, from staffers at the club who said, quote, Trump wanted to fire women employees who weren't pretty enough. Trace Gallagher is in our West Coast newsroom in Los Angeles. Trace?
Megan, when Donald Trump visited his golf course along the ocean here in Southern California, his managers claimed they went on alert to schedule young, thin, pretty women to staff the restaurant. They say when Trump saw unattractive women, he wanted them fired. In a sworn declaration for a lawsuit on labor relations filed in 2012, a former restaurant manager at the club said, quoting, "One time he took me aside and said, I want you to get some good-looking hostesses here. People like to see good-looking people when they come in." The former club catering director said, quote, "I had witnessed Donald Trump tell managers many times while he was visiting the club that restaurant hostesses were not pretty enough and that they should be fired and replaced with more attractive women." The catering director went on to say her boss once told her, quote, "Mr. Trump doesn't like fat people," and that he would not like seeing an unnamed employee when he was on the premises. Even some of the so-called good-looking hostesses complained that Trump's behavior toward them was inappropriate. A Trump attorney says the allegations are meritless, but these type of accusations were raised again during this week's debate when Hillary Clinton told the story of Donald Trump fat-shaming Alicia Machado after she won Miss Universe in 1996. But now Newt Gingrich is defending Trump. Listen.
You're not supposed to gain 60 pounds during the year that you're Miss Universe.
In case you didn't hear it, Gingrich said you're not supposed to gain 60 pounds during your year that you're Miss Universe. The Clinton campaign spokeswoman responded tweeting, "I'm sorry, I can't get past this. Newt Gingrich is criticizing someone for their weight." Megan.
Sure, all the beauty contestants will be looking to him for further advice and counsel on how they can really bring home the title. Trace, thank you. Joining me now with more Clinton supporter and senior fellow at the New Leaders Council, Crystal Ball, and spokesman of the leading pro-Trump super PAC and Navy SEAL veteran, Carl Higbee. Great to see you both.
Thanks, Megan.
Great to see you, Megan.
First, let me start with you, Carl.
Oh, boy.
Why don't they just shut up about the women and how big they're supposed to be?
You know, Megan, this is a little bit ridiculous. I see us in the middle of a presidential campaign, probably the most turmoiled one we've seen in recent years. And we're sitting here talking about whether Donald Trump called some woman fat 20 years ago. I just really don't see why the media is focusing on this when you have Hillary with, Benghazi emails, lying under oath, any number of other things. And we're sitting here talking about this.
Well, the reason is because many people find that kind of objectification objectionable. And, you really you shouldn't alienate half the country, women, and you shouldn't alienate 70% of the country who are overweight. It's like,
unfortunately,
it's a good way to lose votes.
Yeah, it is a good way to lose votes. But the fact of the matter is here, look, Donald Trump has employed, his campaign spokeswoman, you just had her on, she's a woman. His communication director, a woman. The CEO of his campaign is a woman. I know all these people. They love Donald Trump. They work well with him. They don't have any of these problems with him. So I don't understand, where these allegations are coming
Carl,
from.
not to put too fine a point on it, but they're all very beautiful, and none of them is overweight. The question that these stories are raising, Crystal, is whether, as this allegation in this sworn affidavit suggested, quote, Mr. Trump does not like fat people and wants to make sure he has pretty people working as the face of his organizations.
Well, and here's the big problem for him, Megan. Do you think that anyone out there read that story and was shocked and said, oh no, Mr. Trump would never treat women that way? Of course not. Because his comments over the years and continuing into this presidential election campaign have reflected a man who puts a lot of priority, perhaps first priority, on the way that a woman looks, grading them on a 1 to 10 scale. He told a female reporter in this campaign that she had her job because she was beautiful. So this comes as a shock to absolutely no one that Donald Trump is a sexist pig. Why are we talking about it? A, because he keeps talking about it and keeps insisting that Ms. Machado gained a massive amount of weight.
And then
B,
he put her on an exercise program, a luxury exercise program.
It's kind of relevant to people whether their future president happens to also be a sexist pig. I think that's kind of an important piece of information that actually a lot of voters might care about.
Carl, the thing is, you can actually, legally, you can make the argument for certain looks requirements. There was a big case about whether Vegas hostesses could be forced to wear makeup. And the answer was they could. Because if it's part of a uniform, a presentation, a company image,
right.
It's actually not illegal necessarily. But that's different from disqualifying all heavy people. That's a different thing altogether. And even Trump, this woman who ran Trump's construction company, and it was a great role, and he gave her an amazing promotion, even she told the New York Times that he looked at her, she's a larger sized woman, and said, "You like your candy." I mean, you know, this is alienating to a lot of people who struggle with eating.
Yeah, I mean, you know what, Megan? The fact of the matter is 50% of our country is drastically overweight. And you know what?
Including Trump.
Yeah, well, Trump did say that he could shed a few pounds. But the fact is, who cares? We're talking about a little bit of weight, and this is a woman, also this Machado woman. He gave her a luxury exercise program, and they posed for all these pictures, and she was so happy to accept that he was willing to let her keep her title.
She only posed for the pictures because he ambushed her at the exercise facility with 80 reporters who took pictures of her while Donald Trump looked at her from the sidelines. I mean, that is what happened there.
He didn't ambush her. He was on his paid, luxury fitness program.
She says he did.
No, she also says a lot of other things. But the fact of the matter is, she was on his luxury exercise program, and he allowed her to keep her title. And he worked with her, and he said he defended her job because she was overweight, and then helped her get back down to weight. Come on, Megan.
If I could help you with this, there's a very simple response to what we have seen on camera in terms of Mr. Trump's treatment of Ms. Machado, and it's called an apology. It's not called trying to smear her and trying to continue to insist she gained too much weight. It's called saying, "I'm sorry for the way that you were treated and the way that you felt." It's that easy.
Maybe you should talk to your
and let me tell you about who cares about this. Who cares about this? Take a look at the polls, and I think you'll find out who cares about this.
I come from a long line of, people who also love food, right? And
I love food.
The last thing that an overweight person needs to be told is that they're overweight. That's the last thing. Like, trust me, I know. So it doesn't help.
Look, I was a fat kid in middle school. I get it.
Well, now you're a Navy SEAL, so nobody feels bad for you. All right, great to see you both.
Thank you, Megan.
You're like the most elite athletes in the country. Okay, so far, 2016 has involved debates about water drinking, finger size, the eating habits of a former beauty queen, whether the hostesses at the Trump golf course need to be hot, and now it involves celebrities taking their clothes off for Hillary Clinton. Brian Kilmeade volunteered to investigate that. He's here to tell us why they might want to put their clothes back on. Plus, a closer look at the campaign messages scoring the biggest points. Frank Luntz is here. 40 days out from Election Day, and that Clinton ad is getting more buzz this week than perhaps any political spot in recent months. But when it comes to attacking a candidate by using their own words, the Trump team has also come up with a pretty powerful message of its own. Frank Luntz is the CEO of Luntz Global. All right, Frank, so what did it mean when it dipped? Did that mean they didn't like what she was saying, or they didn't like the ad?
Well, they started zero, and then they moved second by second. And what happened was they repeated the same line, and that line became more and more powerful as it really sunk in. And the fact that the Hillary Clinton line was almost at 50 tells me that ad cuts across partisan lines and political lines.
Yeah, because the Democrats were as low or as high as the Republicans and the independents on that.
Exactly. It's an issue of credibility. And the fact is, if we're talking about Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton is winning. If we're talking about Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump is winning. And I don't think the Trump campaign fully understands that if this is a referendum, not on him, but on her, he'll be the next president. And yet all the conversation seems to be about him. Mm-hmm. You've got another couple ads to show. I mean, she is in real trouble if people see these ads.
Frank, what do you make of Carl Higby's point in the last section, which is, that we're at war with Islamic terrorists who want to kill us and decapitate us. Syria is a hot mess. The country is having, the Black Lives Matter movement underscoring some serious issues, and police feel under siege as well. And, we are spending a lot of time on whether Trump is a sexist, whether Hillary has berated women. Is this going to matter to voters?
It's going to matter only in that these undecided independent voters decide not based on policy, they decide based on persona. And they're trying to decide which candidate can they trust and which candidate they want to let into their homes every day for 4 years. Mm-hmm. The point that was made is a good one, Megan. You are correct. The public would rather decide based on policy and record. And when Donald Trump talks about the more than a quarter century that Hillary Clinton spent in Washington, D.C., and what was done, what was accomplished, do we actually make this country stronger? The American people say no. But if it gets sidetracked by all of these side circus shows, then Trump will lose. It is up to him to control this debate.
What about he's hitting her for deplorables? Another thing that he did not bring up in the debate the other night. I'm sure we're going to hear it in the next debate. But he's got this ad ripping her for calling, half of his supporters deplorable. Do we have it? Let's watch. Stand by. It's coming.
Speaking to wealthy donors, Hillary Clinton called tens of millions of Americans deplorable.
The racist, sexist, homophobic, xenophobic, Islamophobic, you name it.
People like you.
Effective?
That ad is going to add an extra 1% turnout to Donald Trump's vote, because if you're insulted by your opponent, you are absolutely, positively, without any doubt whatsoever, going to make it to the polls. That was a dumb comment that she made, and she will pay a price for it.
Trump's been saying, I'm going to go meet with my deplorables. my deplorables are at my rally. Good to see you, Frank.
Pleasure. Thank you.
Well, conspiracy theorists set off a new round of controversy this week, claiming that there is visual proof that Hillary Clinton used secret devices during Monday's presidential debate. Not an earpiece this time. Kilmeade is standing by to tell us what it is. Next. Well, there were no near-collapse episodes for Hillary Clinton at the first presidential debate, but that did not stop a new round of conspiracy theories from going viral. From a secret cough prevention machine, because that exists, to a cheat-assisting earpiece. Brian Kilmeade is here to separate fact from fiction. He's co-host of Fox and Friends and host of Kilmeade and Friends on Fox News Radio.
Right. Megan, so here's the thing. One thing about when you think about Hillary Clinton, she's got answers. Just the question is, are they the right answers? So a lot of people say she probably didn't need any help. But what is that mysterious thing on her back? You see the line through her back. You see those arrows there that weren't there in the natural picture that was put there by John Madden. And there, that little wire there. The question is it a Comtech RC216 that costs $655 that would allow people to talk to her in another room? That's what the question is. It is something. Or could it be some type of cough suppressant? Could it be a compressor machine kit, which is a nebulizer that goes for $35.95 that can stop and clear up bronchial tubes for a short period of time?
It has like secret little nose pieces?
Right. It goes somehow, it clears up your head before and maintains that clear nasal passage.
I gotta get that, whether she used that or not.
There's another question. Both these things might not have happened.
You think?
This actually might have been just Hillary Clinton out there, but that is kind of strange. I've never dressed a woman, but I don't know
so
why.
What is it? What is that?
What I don't know what that could be.
What does the campaign say?
The campaign says it's nothing. That's just the way it is.
Can we see the picture one more time?
I mean,
Debbie Murphy, who works for us, says that, I don't know about that thing at the bottom, but she says that's her spine.
Right.
She says, to me, it looks like a spine. And the thing at the bottom is like, it could be something in her pocket.
It could be that. Here, it
does look like a mic pack. It looks a lot like a mic pack, just like this, and just in case like the mic out there died.
Right.
Or an IFB pack, which connects you to the. Okay, we got to move on because Gary Johnson said another really silly thing, and that's being kind. Here he is with Chris Matthews.
Who's your favorite foreign leader?
Who's my favorite?
Just name anywhere in the country, any one of the continents, any country. Name one foreign leader that you respect and look up to.
I guess I'm having an Aleppo moment in the former president of Mexico.
But I'm giving you the whole world.
I know.
Anybody in the world you like. Pick any leader.
The former president of Mexico.
Which one?
I'm having a brain.
Name anybody.
Fox.
He said he smoked pot for 4 years. And he stopped in 2008. He said in June he'll stop smoking pot because he's running for president. I am not convinced he has. Also, they did a study. Pot's out of your system in 7 days. So it does cause short-term memory loss. But if he's not smoking it, it shouldn't be a problem.
He should have just said any name, like John Cockno-san, right? Name that movie.
John Cockno-san?
John Cockno-san. You got it.
Yes.
What's the movie?
Fletch.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. We'll be right back.
Roll the commercial. In an effort to get young people to vote, Katy Perry has taken off her clothes. She believes that if people can just go naked and vote naked, and Madonna can do the same thing, people will vote.
For who?
For, I believe, Hillary, if I'm correct. Get dressed.
Bye.